Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Homemaker Chic Podcast, Monday morning podcast. The Monday podcast. It is Monday, but we are so glad to be with you here. I am Shay Elliott, joined by Angela Reed, and we have been, doing our best to save homemaking from the daily grind for 5 years now here on this podcast. We are in season, I don't know, does it matter? I don't think it does, but we are focusing. We are focusing this season, our homemaking efforts on being soft, not sloppy, and kind of teetering between that wonderful line of soft and sloppy. It's been a funny conversation. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and know exactly what we mean.
Sure. I think, yeah. I mean, it helps to unpack. Let's just unpack it really quick if they haven't caught any of this season. Soft meaning give yourself a break. Not sloppy meaning still get the job done. Like
That's
just that right fine line. Like not letting it all go to pot just because you need a day off or a week off or whatever. But just being gentle with yourself. And we've talked about how our bodies try to communicate to us through hunger pains and stress. And we've talked about communication. We've talked about entertaining, giving yourself a break, and yet still being a good hostess. And today, I wanted to talk about the garden.
I asked Angela to talk about the garden weeks ago, and she's like, I'm not quite there yet. I'm not quite there yet.
Right.
But spring has finally fully sprung in northern Wisconsin. And so she can join the rest of us now that it's June.
I know. I feel like it's so funny. People on YouTube must think I'm publishing like 6 weeks late. I'm like, oh, this is what it really looks like here. Like, I still had daffodils and like my daffodils just went over. Like,
oh, yeah. See, that's
you're
a long time ago here.
Long time ago for you.
Yeah. But in honor of our gardening episode, we both wore our gardening gear. And what I love about this is that we did not plan it, but everybody in my family knows. I'm going to stand up for those of you watching this episode on YouTube. I'm going to stand up so that you can see this. Okay.
Both. Yeah. Let me see yours. Is this your old man shirt? Oh yeah, girl.
You can tell this coat is my one piece of clothing that actually has a name. I bought it years ago at a thrift store. It's just an old man, big button up, long, kind of linen-y cotton fabric that I absolutely adore. And his name is Monty.
Love it.
And I'll say, where's Monty? I left Monty outside. He's been left outside many times. You can see he's very sun bleached.
Sun fades.
Very stained, but it is my gardening. I can wipe my nose with it. I can hide stuff in the pockets.
Dirt boogers.
I can get my dirt boogers out.
Okay, this is mine. This is an old sweater of Joel's, and it's ratty up here, and he was going to throw it away. No, you can't throw that away. So here it is.
Yep.
All its stained glory. I think it's covered in dry shampoo this morning. And I should have grabbed my queen coat. That's what I call mine. And people know this one. It's my green corduroy coat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Thin. It's not thick at all. And golly, I love that. But it reminds me of Queen Elizabeth. So
your queen coat. I love
funny, that. We have both British gardeners.
Yes, that is funny. It is funny. I love origin stories when you go back and you think, when did I become this way?
Oh, God.
When did I become aware of Monty Don, or when did I become aware of the British gardening scene? I don't quite remember, but
Monty Don is like you, where I knew of you. We interacted a few times, but like I didn't know you. And then I remember one day saying, "Do you watch Monty Don?" And I was like, "No, I don't. I should."
Yeah.
And now he's like one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
But yeah, British gardening. I got introduced to, well, being that I'm a royalist. I mean, I knew about like that culture, right? Just like an Anglophile type thing. But I remember specifically getting, I think I've talked about it on the show before, this American cottage gardens.
Mm-hmm.
or British Cottage, English Cottage Gardens book. And I think the introduction and then the closing is Tasha Tudor,
Yes, I know
looking
which
at
book you're
starting
talking
like with
about.
an American perspective. And
Yep.
that was the book for me where I like was really introduced to this idea of the Cotswolds, the front garden, mass amounts of ladies' mantle, just like I remember getting
Mm-hmm.
it at the library decades ago, probably 2 decades ago. And I just was like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
I love this. I've got a little
Yes.
person. You
I
talk.
know I can see him. Yes. I love people who watch YouTube. They're just like, there are kids that just sneak
Gotta
in
have your
throughout
hand in front
these
of the door.
episodes. How dare you close the door, Mom?
Okay.
We've got stuff to talk about. Um, if you are new to gardening, which I don't think a ton of people are at this point who listen to this podcast, but I don't think there's anybody whose gardens have inspired me in quite the same way that Tasha Tudor's gardens have.
Yeah.
I love Monty's, but it's like Monty's are a world away from what Shay, mother of four who has no help, is going to be capable of.
Right.
And so, as much as I enjoy looking at Monty's, the structure and everything, he is this gigantic man with just big body, big hands, big muscles. We're not having the same conversation.
Big budget.
Big budget,
Right.
help, like help.
Every time he
And
sticks his spade in the ground and it's like 10 inches of loam, I'm just
mhm.
like, what? I'm sorry, what world?
First off, he does have help. I have
Yeah.
seen him talk about this many
Oh, I'm
times in the
sure.
comments. And people say, how do you do it? How do you do it? And he says, well, of course I have help. What are you talking about? Like,
Right.
of course I do. We have a small dedicated team. I'm like, well, we have me. So let's just face that. Okay.
Right.
But Tasha Tudor's gardens, there was a soulful, as much as there can be, a soulful presence in those gardens. And that's when I first realized what gardens can do. And I know there are people who are listening to this podcast who live in an apartment, who live in a basement studio, who don't have a yard, don't have a capacity for a garden. But it's even in that situation, I think it's still wonderful to turn your eyes to gardens. There's a reason that even big cities put in parks and put in
Oh, yeah.
community gardens and these kinds of things so that you can, even in that situation, you could learn flowers and you could learn to appreciate them and you could understand bloom times and see the nature around you in a
Mhm.
kind of a different way. But there is something, and I think Tasha did this perfectly. There is something about expanding the soul of your home, past your kitchen door
Mhm.
out into the yard in a very unique, individual, beautiful capacity. I think she did that so well.
Yeah. It's funny. Like I was raised on Tasha Tudor. I
Mm,
I have a book with like an inscription in the front. Was a 4-year-old birthday present, and it was Tasha Tudor's Four Seasons. Like my mom raised me on her artwork,
hmm.
like uh, her, and then
Yeah.
like what was the other one that did the book called Baby Deer? There were like two female artists that did like children's books, and so I always knew about her. My mom never like talked about her garden, so my mom didn't have gardening coffee table books. She had like
Hmm.
decor coffee table books, even though
Yeah.
she did. I don't know if I would say my mom kept gardens. She kept flower beds. And I don't mean that to be a diss or anything, but like she had a bed full of snapdragons. And then we had a split rail fence out front and she had peony. And then she would do snapdragon like for the next round because peony come first. So, but it was just kind of funny to me that totally knew about Tasha Tudor for so long because I was like a household author, right? And then, but not the gardens until later on in life, Corey's
Yeah.
Cottage or anything like that. So,
Yeah. There's lots of wonderful books that you can um, that you can follow along with. And they're all sort of dated now. Tasha Tudor has died. And so everything that's been photographed of her has been photographed. And it's
Right.
no, so
Yes.
it's now it's starting to age, which is pretty incredible to see, especially with just the way technology's gone. But
Right. Do you
um,
have any desire to go there?
oh yes,
Yeah.
I would love to go there. Her family still keeps the home
Mm-hmm.
up, still keeps the gardens up, and actually sells little seed packets um, from there, which is I think is really really special. But what I loved about Tasha Tudor's gardens is that she fully and unapologetically made them hers. And as much as I have opinions about what I like in a garden and what I really strongly dislike,
Mm-hmm.
what I like seeing more, even if I don't like it personally, is that like individual creativity and exploration
Mm.
come out in a garden. I would rather see somebody's personality in their garden than see something that's cookie cutter that they don't really love or that they don't really express themselves in, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, here we have like a lot of beautiful lakeside homes, right? With wealth. We have wealth. And so they'll have gardens. And if I go to one of those homes, like I have a friend that clears estates. So when the house goes up for sale and she sells everything and helps them move out of state or whatever. And so I'll get to go to these houses and see these incredible gardens. But they give more like landscaping because they've just been done. They're
Landscaping.
a beautiful space, but they're not the homeowner's passion. They've been created because the
Mhm.
atmosphere needed, the exterior needed atmosphere. And they're gardens for sure. There's paths and whatever, whatever, but they're not the homeowner's heart and soul poured into it.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
That's because it's so much work.
It's because it's so much work.
It's because it's a billion times easier to have a crew come in and landscape it and then somebody come in and mow it every other Friday.
Hmm.
Exponentially easier. I am continually floored at how physical gardening is. It's so physical, especially in the spring.
Yeah, said my yesterday.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I
Like,
should have counted how many stones I moved yesterday. That would have been interesting.
yeah.
I'm redoing the rock wall on my cottage gardens that like step down into what I call my potager, and they're just full of mice holes and wild garlic and snake dens and everything. So I'm ripping them all down, putting tarp down at the very least to keep the weeds out from in between the rocks because, the first couple years it was charming. Wild garlic's really beautiful, especially in the winter when you leave the seed pods on and in the fall. I mean, it is structurally, it's gorgeous. It's so invasive though.
Mm-hmm.
Like a friend of mine the other
Mm-hmm.
day said, I want wild garlic. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I listen, you're talking to somebody who planted mint. So what do I know about anything?
in the ground you did?
Yeah,
Shay,
yeah, I did. Listen, if you
don't
guys ever learn
do that.
anything from this podcast, for the
Don't
love,
plant
do
mint.
not plant mint and definitely don't plant it in four different places.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm. So
In this
we
garden you
learn,
did?
you know what? We learn, Angela. We learn.
I'm too scared to even sink a pot in. Because they people will say like that's a remedy. So if you don't know what we're talking about, mint is extremely invasive, and that's it. Once it starts, it's over.
I will be
Um,
pulling it out for the rest of my life
yeah.
that
So
I have
they'll
this
they'll
garden.
say to like sink a pot. No, I'm yeah
Well,
yeah.
what's done is done.
Mhm.
What's done is done. And here we are, but we are we're happy to be here.
In the
We are
garden.
happy to be here. So let's say thank you to some of our
Yes.
sponsors. Listen, we talk all the time about Garden House. Garden
Mm.
House is when you go outside and you're living your best life, and then you come inside and you realize the wrath of your family.
Oh, your house was clean when you exited the home, and you come in
Hours
the house
later,
bunch.
tired, sweaty. Reach for your branch basics.
Mhm.
I have been really working on my attitude about
I heard her
dirty
say, reach for your
dishes.
dry farm. That too.
Reach for your dry farm or reach for your branch basics. Pour yourself a glass of wine and wash your dishes. There you go.
Exactly.
I will say thank you to branch basics first.
Mhm.
I've been trying to really work on my attitude when it comes to doing
Mhm.
dishes because, look, the reality is it takes 15 minutes. It's not that big of a deal. So let's not be precious about it, as Monty Don says, and let's just clean our houses. And when you use branch basics, you can just rest assured that you're not only using a hypoallergenic, free of hormone disruptors, free of fragrances, free of any toxic chemicals, just a beautiful plant-based cleaner that most importantly works really, really, really well. There's no scum, there's no film. It cuts things so well, whether you're cleaning your toilet or cleaning your dishes or washing your laundry or scrubbing your floors. And you can use the code Homemaker Chic to get 15% off your starter kit with branch basics. You got to be stocked so that when you come in and you have Garden House, you are able to take care of things swiftly and effectively. And Branch Basics can help you do that. Use the code Homemaker Chic for 15% off your starter kit.
Yay. And pour yourself a glass of dry farm. That's what I did last night. I moved about 500 stones and my neck hurt so bad. And I just thought, I'm going to take a hot bath with a glass of champagne.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did. Oh my goodness. dryfarmwine.com/homemaker chic. Get a bottle or get a box of bubbly. Just get 3. Treat yourself this gardening season. And they're going to send you an extra one so you'll get 4. Yay.
Mm-hmm. I love having bubbly in the fridge after gardening. It's what I want. I want red meat and I
Mhm.
want bubbly.
Yeah, I ate a big bowl of mixed nuts, a cheese stick, and a glass of champagne
Oh my
in the
gosh.
bathtub. It was magnificent. Shay, I
So
just
this
had
is
an
where we are.
idea.
What?
We haven't seen each other in 5 years. We should go together.
To go
That's where we
where?
should go.
Oh, to Tasha Tudor's. That's a good idea.
That's a really good idea.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll talk about that off the air.
All right. So I know what you like about, her gardens is I'm looking up pictures while we talk. They're not precious, they're cottage gardens, which is cottage gardens are really dense and there's a lot of antique varieties of perennials and seeds fall and bloom and scatter. And I think for any gardener, or I'm going to use words here that are interesting, easier to maintain than a more formal garden.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's like a charming cluttered home. There, you know.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. I mean, that's kind of this idea. And, I think what's interesting is my gardens are very informal, very Tasha Tudor-esque. Yours are somewhere between Tasha's and Monty's, where you have the cottage garden feel
Right up by the house. Yeah.
right up by the house, and then it kind of moves into this more structured piece.
Great.
So like
Yeah.
Angela had this wonderful idea this year. So she has this lavender bed and she's using trained apple trees to sort of enclose this lavender patch. Did I get that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If I were to do that on my property, it would look ridiculous. Like it wouldn't fit it at all.
Not even like where your split rail. Don't you have a split rail around a vegetable garden, or like where the chickens used to be, or something like that?
I have a split rail around my herb garden.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so they're
No, it's too, your house has a different formality
right because it's
than
kind
my
of
old orcharding shack.
yeah,
Like a little home.
The main part of my house is kind of, I suppose, like Georgian in shape, and
Right, exactly.
yeah.
And I think if people are gardening and as they're planning it out, this is a really, really important factor. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
it's
you're
insane.
you're trying to not fight nature.
Yeah,
What is your home like? Look at
right,
Tasha's home. It's this log Vermont cabin
right.
that was hand built without any power tools by her son. He did an incredible job.
Yeah.
And if she would have done, a high-end structured British garden around this, I'm sure she would have done it beautiful, but it would have lost some of this magic.
Yeah.
So there is a piece of just almost like accepting what is and just saying, this is what's going to be here.
Well, think
And
about it. It's the same as like interiors. You
Mhm,
really should complement your architecture inside,
mhm,
with what you're trying to do. And it would be really silly to
yeah, yeah,
have some sort of, you know, Versailles mini chateau look outside of her cottage.
that would be silly.
That would be weird.
I got to tell you one of the most helpful things that I have done lately. Stu used to frame houses when we first got married, and he had this really old leather tool belt, framing tool belt, had all these different pockets and contraptions, really worn in because my old friend had given it to Stuart to begin with. It was like his old framing bags. So they're very old, very worn in. And now I put it on. I never go outside without it on. And I have pruners, scissors, seed packets, twine, like one of those wiry twine ones with the little snippy thing. I got all this good stuff just shoved in my pockets. And you guys, it's so fun. Not only is it
Can't believe
fun,
you're just saying that. I just said to Joel, do they make like gardener tool belts? Because I have
I
this
mean,
really cute basket that I lug around, but I inevitably set stuff down and then I'm doing the laps trying to. I just said to him yesterday, I'm like, I need like a really comfortable gardener tool belt. And I like what you're saying about it being like worn because I don't want to
oh,
be
it's
getting stiff
old.
and
No, no, no. And all the ones I've seen that are made for gardening, it's like, here's your spot for your pruners. But I'm like, I need 87 more things than
yeah,
that.
exactly. Like I need like military style.
I need
Big.
militant floral bags, please. I can put my cell phone in there, which is great. So you just reach and you learn which things are in which pocket and you can just reach behind you. And I'm telling you, it's just like, it's one of
Oh,
those
dang it.
silly things that's just, I'll show you, I'll send you a picture. I wear them in my YouTube videos all the time
Yeah.
because I find them to be so helpful. And then afterwards, I take it off and everyone knows, like when the belt comes off, mom's done for the day. And I just stash it away in a spot and it's all in one little thing. One little thing. Like the smallest, most ridiculous little pleasure.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is about, we talk about little pleasures all the time on the show, and there are little pleasures in the garden and especially with tools. I have one of those big grinding stones, for knives and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. And then I got outside, so I have that outside, but it, part of it broke, so the kids used to sit on it and pedal it, and you can put water in the top and then grind your hoe or whatever and sharpen it. So it needs a little repair right now, but I got a countertop one from an old general store.
Mm.
And it's so cute. It's this little round stone and it has a water tray on the bottom. And so I can take my pruners apart and sharpen them. Oh my gosh. It's just so enjoyable. Because, like,
Yeah.
what's worse than a dull pruners?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharp. I love sharp pruners.
Hmm.
I love, I don't have a ton of tools, but I'm telling you what, I love garden gear.
Yeah.
I
Julian
love
goes, Is
it.
this? I have a favorite tool, right? My little favorite. It's almost like a beet hoe. I don't know. Anytime I go to a barn sale, I call them old man sales. Like I buy all the old garden tools because they're so much better than the new ones. And then if the wood handle cracks, then you can just get a new wooden handle. But I like old garden tools. And I have this little tiny, tiny, tiny hoe. I suppose it's like a beet hoe. But the family knows like that's mom's favorite tool. It makes weeding a pleasure. It's just the best little tool. But I got a new one recently, and even Juju's teasing me. He's like, "Is this your new favorite tool, Mom?"
Mhm.
It's like a little, almost like a pocket knife. The handle's like 10 inches long, I have a good friend in the community, and her husband passed away, and it was his.
Mm.
And it's just this beautiful, like walnut handle. And then there's like 10 inches of knife blade, and it's like bread knife. It's serrated and it's
Oh,
collapsible. It's
interesting.
like a giant pocket knife. What's it called? Not pocket knife. Is that the word I'm thinking of?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
with like, yeah.
Yeah.
Pocket knife. Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's wonderful
Mm.
for roses or anything. It's just like having a little saw in your tools, and the handle's really thin. So it's not big
Yeah,
and clunky. It's not big
yeah.
like a bone saw type thing or anything. Oh my gosh.
Oh, send me a picture of it,
Love
please.
it.
Send me a picture of it, please. So Stu and I have been talking a lot. I think we've all established. I think out loud. Okay? So it's a problem, but it's just the way the Lord made me. So here we are. So Saturday morning rolls around and I'd gotten all these work emails and I was kind of overwhelmed before the day even started.
Mhm.
Um, when I'm a grown up, I will have a work email and a personal email, and I will figure out how to shut certain ones off at certain times, but I'm not there yet. So,
Mhm.
anyway, and so we talked a lot about how there's no arrival of organization. There's no arrival of like, oh, look, isn't the garden perfect? Isn't my life perfect? Aren't my kids perfect? Isn't, isn't my bank account perfect?
Mhm.
And I think that's almost this, not just lie we've been told, but really this false ideal that we think when we're adults, all of these things will happen. And
Yeah.
then you become an adult and you realize you're just a more wrinkly 19-year-old in
Mhm.
most ways. So we talked about how we really have to work on letting go of this idea of, oh, and now we're done with this.
Mm.
And now we're done with this. Oh, look, now we have finally just got everything figured out and life is just going to be golden until the finish line.
Yeah.
And Stuart said to me, thank God we have our gardens because you can sit inside and just stew and stew and stew. And most homemakers know this feeling where you're just walking around your house, you're not really being productive, you're not really sure what to do, you're kind of off, you're not feeling right. Something's just, you're kind
Mhm.
of right, you're snappy, you're unsettled. And then you go outside and you watch a robin or you see something that's in bloom or you see something that's ready for harvest. So on this particular Saturday, I go outside with my basket. Don't really know what for. I know I don't have the time to sink into actually working in a garden. So I just start pacing around, going around, seeing what I can see.
Mhm.
And I realized and remembered that spring is the best time to gather up raspberry leaves. And they're at their most potent in the mid to late spring, which is what we're at now. So I take my basket and I just start gathering up all these raspberry leaves for tea because we often will freeze dry them and make these big batches of raspberry leaf tea, and it makes delicious iced tea. It tastes like black tea. Um, it's fantastic. So anyway, I harvest these raspberry leaves. We brew this big batch of raspberry leaf tea, and I'm out there for maybe 5 minutes gathering these leaves. And I mean, I don't take stuff like this, but I imagine it was like taking like an antidepressant. It was like
Oh,
all of a sudden, everything that was up here went down here. What is that?
it,
How
I
can
think
it do
they've
that?
proven that it's as strong as an antidepressant, haven't they? Is there like
I don't know.
actual, like in the last year, scientific research about gardening and depression? I mean, I know they always say, but I think it's like, gosh, I feel like I just heard about a legit study
Hmm.
because it's true. It's sort of, you know, when something is sad in your life and you wake up and you can't remember, and you're like, wait, I'm sad about something or really burdened by
Oh,
something or stressed about something.
yes.
And you can tell it's just been pushed down, right? Well, that's what happens to me in the garden. Like I'll go out there and I'm in a contemplative state, maybe thinking about the thing. And then it's it's gone. It like dissipates
Yeah.
with the whatever task I'm doing. And I'll think, as time will go by, and I'll think, what was I stressed about?
Mm-hmm.
What was that? What was that again?
Mm-hmm.
And I have to like wait for it to come back up.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't believe how it suppresses,
Mm-hmm.
it gets suppressed.
I know a lot of people listen to this podcast while they're gardening, but, and I want you to listen to it, please, and share it with your friends, please. But I have been really strategic about not listening to anything
Mm.
when I garden. And what I have found, I don't practice meditation in like the way that we think about meditation, but I know enough about it to know that they say to actually not try to direct your thoughts, to actually just let your thoughts like water, whatever needs to
Mm-hmm.
be thought, just think it. Okay, like let it go like a leaf. You just, okay, now watch it go down the river. Okay, now another thought. Now watch it go down the river. Now another thought. What I found is when I'm gardening and I'm not listening to anything, no music, no podcasts, no sounds other than just my thinking, bird sounds, whatever, dogs barking. Your mind does that. It's almost like it's purging or cleansing. And so oftentimes I'll think about something totally obscure, like somebody I haven't seen in 30 years, or this weird thing that happened in second grade, or, just like the most ridiculous things. But what's fascinating now is obviously my mind needed to churn through these things for some reason. And I can look at my garden and see something that's planted, see something that's weeded, and remember what I was thinking about
Mm.
when I did that thing. I can't remember what I did yesterday.
Huh.
But there is something mentally that's going on it's like giving your brain space. You are literally creating space to say, my body's busy,
Mm-hmm.
mind, do what you need to do.
Mm.
And like almost just letting it come over you. Which is, how often do we get to do that? I'm thinking ironing, I suppose, is like another task where you're just, when your body's kind of doing this, I don't know, menial work, not menial, that's not the right word.
Repetitive.
Repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And walking does that.
Walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not lifting, because when I'm lifting, I'm really engaged with my body,
Yeah.
present with my body. But walking, it's just like I'll do that. I'll do that with walking and with gardening. So I do like to listen to things in the garden because I don't wear earbuds anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't for a couple years now, and so I don't get a chance to, like, I don't listen to audiobooks in the kitchen, because, or while I'm cooking or whatever, because everybody can hear it. Nobody wants to listen to that. No, nobody wants to listen to my podcasts or my books or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a place out there where I can listen to things and not bother people.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but then I will also go, okay, now, or I'll start with quiet.
Yeah.
Quiet for a half hour or an hour, and then your treat will be that you get to, but like, just let your brain, blah, 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 do what
Yeah.
it needs
That's
to do.
exactly it. Just let it go. Blah.
Yeah,
Got stuff to
exactly.
think about. And, perhaps like, look, there's not ever really time to garden. It's like working out. It's like, you're just going to make it or you're not,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But it is one of those, we've been at our house for 10 years now, and I'm blown away. When we moved in, it was just grass. Just,
I know. When I look out, I'm like, this was all grass
that's
and
it.
trees.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And it's wild now to see what you can create so imperfectly, you guys. I was just telling Angela of all the things I, wouldn't have planted or maybe would have done a little bit differently or would have gotten right the first time as opposed to taking 5 or 6 times to try to get it right. You don't know these things until you actually do them. I mean, you had done the gardens at 2 other houses prior to doing your gardens at this house. This is my first one. This is the only like gardens I've ever put in. And so much of it happened unintentionally. And I think, again, as in there's no arrival, um, there's no formula. Not really.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. And so it's trial and error. It's getting in there and just doing it. Just doing it. And look, there used to be these garden magazines, and that was really the only place that you saw these incredible gardens. I think it made people a little bit less scared to just try.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with like home design. People weren't afraid to just try because so what?
Right.
Now it's a little bit different because I think people feel maybe a little bit more under a microscope,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because people can see you, they can see your first attempts at a garden or your first attempts at design or your first attempts at baking bread or your first attempts at parenting.
Right.
It's a little bit more intense, I suppose. And that's one of the reasons I love coffee table books. They move at a pace that makes sense to me.
I love coffee table books. Like,
Yeah. Tasha Tudor's Gardens. That's a book I read probably twice a year. Probably twice a year in late February when I'm really sad. And then usually in July when I'm like a little worn down by the work. It's really, 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 really hot here in July. Everything is taking on a different form slightly. And I have to remind myself that, like, no, you need to get out there and soak up every stupid petal that you can.
mm-hmm. Bless you.
Oh, bless me. Let's say thank you to our other Homemaker Chic sponsors. Tubes & Co. is where you should go for sexy and simple and luxurious skincare. And that's exactly what it feels like when you wash your face with the sea buckthorn cleansing oil, which works so well. And then you put on that glow serum and you use your gua sha stone and you move that inflammation out of your face. And then you can use that wonderful primer that they make. There are so many clean, incredible products that Emily has formulated. And you can visit tubesandco.com and use the code HMC10 for 10% off. I always encourage people to look at the ingredients of Tubes & Co. products before they buy them because you're going to see ingredients like cold-pressed olive oil and grass-fed tallow, no synthetic chemicals, no toxins, no fillers, no artificial colors, no artificial fragrances at all. We had Emily on the podcast years ago. And she was telling us and explaining to us all the different labels that ingredients could go under. And if you saw aqua, water, as the first ingredient in a product, the only way to keep that really stable is by using actually lots of preservatives. They know people don't like that, so they don't just say preservatives on the label. So you can go back and listen to that episode if you want to learn a little bit more. But tubesandco.com is where you can find not only natural skincare with incredible ingredients, but also makeup as well. So blushes, toners, eyeshadows, eyeliners, mascaras, foundations, powders, you name it, they have it. And you can use the code HMC10 for 10% off your purchase with Tubes & Co.
Yay. I would like to say thank you to American Blossom Linens. You can visit them at americanblossomlinens.com and remember this easy peasy code for this season. It's SOFT20 for 20% off. So if you are ready to stock your linen closet with heirloom quality cotton grown here right in the United States, made here right in the United States, this is who you should partner with. Shay and I, both of our beds are dressed in American Blossom, our children's beds, our linen closets, beds, blankets, baby blankets, yummy baby things for all those baby showers you're getting invited to this summer. Visit AmericanBlossomLinens.com. Use the code SOFT20.
I have been feeling and trying to channel that softness that we've been talking about this season into the garden with regards, I know you had an absolute throwdown work day yesterday out in your garden. And those are necessary, especially in the spring. But now that we've kind of passed that main push weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And just like in the home, I try to remind myself that this whole like progress over perfection, consistent action over the course of many days
Mm-hmm.
does result in good things. And these are things we talk about on this podcast all the time. And they're or working out, like it is about you showing up consistently. It is about that. And I've tried to channel that into the garden this year because life has gotten pretty busy for us. And I don't like saying that just nonchalantly. It's not something I particularly love. But what I have found is that while I don't necessarily have like 9 hours to throw down on every Saturday, I can usually carve out 45 minutes or an hour a day
Mm-hmm.
to just go outside, clear my head, get some fresh air, soak in some sunshine, do a little bit of work, and actually make progress.
Right.
And that's what's sort of surprising me is that softness actually can make progress.
Yeah, I think that's where the softness comes in, is just looking at it and accepting you cannot do all the things at once. And when you're working in this bed, the weeds in that bed are growing while you're watering this plant is drying out. Like that's just part of it. That is gardening. I mean, gardening is, it's like what you were saying, it is like homemaking, where it's not the final result. It's the task and the act of gardening. And just there is a softness just to going out, doing what you can do, and in your mind, giving yourself a break.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't be in all the beds at all the same time. You can't be doing all the things at the same time. And just having maybe just a softness in your mind and your heart as a gardener, like I'm taking care of my garden. I'm just one person, and it's not about perfection. It's about the fact that I enjoy taking care of my garden.
Didn't we do an episode on that last year about how it's not called gardened? Yeah, I gardened. No, it's like, it's gardening.
Right.
It's gardening. And if you're only gardening for the end result and you want it to just hold there, then really we're kind of talking about landscaping.
Mm-hmm. Probably. Yeah.
A little bit more so.
Fair.
I'll tell you what, my life would be probably about 80% easier in the garden if I wasn't convinced that I should not use chemicals.
Oh my gosh. I've had this conversation with myself about 80 times in the last 2 weeks, because every project we're doing
Damn
right
those
now
principles.
is because of our stupid principles. It's like, really, this will be revealed on YouTube over the coming weeks, but and I'm already sort of like not dreading the comments. Everybody has opinions, I know some people are going to think I'm crazy, but I'm getting rid of all the grass paths in my garden. I cannot spend the first 4 weeks of every gardening season hoiking grass that's grown over the winter under the snow out of my beds. It has to stop. It's not, I'm going to be gardening when I'm 70 and 75 and 80 and Tasha Tudor. Like, it has to be doable. So, and really that was the initial design I had in my head anyways. I wanted gravel. So we're doing that, and it's a ginormous undertaking, and we're putting in a sprinkler system. So first we have to dig that, then put down the tarps to kill the grass, and then do the gravel. But I'm just out there thinking, dang it, if I could just nuke this, like me taking down my rock wall and redoing it. If I could nuke it with Roundup, I wouldn't have to take this stupid rock wall apart and tarp underneath it. But I can't because of my dumb principles.
I know. But then you see like the bumbles, the bumbles that are like as big as hummingbirds.
I love those.
And I'm like, just hang on, buddy. I'm going to create a little safe haven for you.
Right,
like,
exactly.
I don't think I expected that piece of gardening when I started, right? You think you're doing it for yourself. You do not expect to
care about pollinators. Like little friends.
I see them and I'm like, we're here, buddy. You want some more of this? I'll plant some more. I'll plant some more for you. Don't worry. They become such a part of the conversation, which I which I love. But yeah, no, those the principles, those are tough things for the gardener. I'll tell you one thing too that's been really helpful to us this season is recognizing again in that like soft vein on things. I talked about this a lot on my YouTube channel about feeling like we were entering a different season, and so we decided to tarp 3/4 of our vegetable garden and just do a little corner garden of some of our favorite things. And it's incredible how much time it has freed up. Vegetables always took priority, right? Because it's food. You don't want to waste it.
Mm-hmm.
And so anytime that we could weed, anytime that we could plant, harvest, preserve, it was all consuming to grow as much food as we did. And I'm so grateful that I know how.
Mm-hmm.
And the beds are still there for in the future. But it was I say this in case somebody is listening and feeling like, I love my gardens. I totally get what you guys are talking about, but I'm overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
And to that, I would just say, I think there's days of overwhelm for the gardener, like your day yesterday. Maybe not overwhelmed, but just brutal,
Mm-hmm.
brutal days for the gardener. That's different than sort of chronically being in a state of, I can't do this. I can't get this done.
Yeah.
At which point, like you said, you want to remember that you actually like to garden.
Mm-hmm.
You actually like this. And you like the result of it too. You want to see the result of it too. And if you haven't found yourself like that for a while, as Monty would say, don't be precious about it. Don't be precious about it.
Yeah. So something I've learned from him, and I just started watching this season a few weeks ago of Gardener's World, because I like to sync it up with. Usually, if I started at a certain time, I can sync it up right with Northern Wisconsin. So he's doing the things that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, right? But something I've just learned from him as somebody who just likes to rip off, take a bite out of life and just go for it on all fronts, right? Is he's just so pragmatic and so matter of fact, and he might have emotions behind off camera, when his dogs died and things like that, or when he has to rip something out and start over, or when his garden floods, But I've just learned from him to take things a bit more in stride and do what needs to get done for the garden. So that is what I'm doing. That is one of the sort of motivators or influencers behind this huge push we're doing to sort of get a handle on what we've created. Like, we have to put in a deer fence, a real one, not a cute, charming, giant wattle fence that we made from the forest. Like, we have to put in a real fence because they're just getting in all the time. We have to do sprinklers because Door County is in a constant drought year after year, and we have 6 inches of topsoil. And the wind just whips through my garden and it just dries out. Well, you can watch it dry out. And we have to put in the gravel because the wild oregano is so invasive, blah, 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 blah. So all that those are 3 huge projects that have to get done like in the next 2 weeks. And a few years ago, we took the back of the house, which was that was the original garden for the people that used to have this house years ago, and it was just all overgrown and terrible. And we did like 2 layers of cardboard on the whole thing, put in 5 little raised beds. And I like the back of the house because it's more cottagey. It's 1 story, and it's just a totally different vibe than the front of the house. But those darn principles again. The weeds have come through the cardboard so bad up into the raised. I cannot take care of it right now. And there's no way I can give the front garden the attention that it deserves this year and maintain my cutting garden in the back. So I'm going to tarp the whole thing. And I'm hoping that will help kill the weeds, even if I tarp it for a year. I'm really hoping that does the trick. It's going to be ugly, that I will see black tarp when I look out my windows. But I'm going to tarp the pea gravel and not put the hoop house up and everything because, number 1, the weeds need to die. Number 2, I cannot do both this year. And I'm
Yeah.
really like, I'm totally okay with it because I'm so excited about doing the right thing.
That's a lot of training for the soul right there, for the homemaker. You know,
Mm-hmm.
what's that old like refrigerator magnet? Like what's popular is what's popular is not always right. What's right is not always popular or something. The same could be said for like what's easiest is not actually what's easy. And what's easy is not always easiest. Does that make sense? For the gardener, it's like there's a lot there of just doing the hard thing. Imagine that. Doing the hard thing. And interestingly, the hard thing in this case is actually the soft thing for you, for your spirit. Like that's what's actually making you have some peace this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I haven't done it yet. It just looks so bad. Like the two beds of tulips did their thing and they were great. And
Yeah.
I had tulips and, it's my cutting garden. That's what I use the back garden for.
Yeah.
We see it. Like that's where we spend time. That's where the pool is. But I just, my goodness, if I could go back and no offense to the cardboard method, love it. But it was not enough for the level of weeds we were dealing with back there.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand. Okay, we have to leave people with something beautiful.
Okay.
Something beautiful. Let's see, no matter where you are, you would still have time to plant some cosmos in your garden, which are a wonderful cottage flower. Could not be easier to grow. Ours self-seed, we let them go to seed and they just re-sow themselves every year.
Fabulous.
So those could be a wonderful thing if you still have a little bit of time in your garden. What are you particularly, I know things haven't quite bloomed for you yet, but what are you particularly enjoying this year?
Well, the cottage garden's really full. I mean, the iris are just getting like bigger and bigger. I've got maybe 4 big clumps of them out there. They're gonna go probably next week. The peony are gonna go next week. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the maturity of it. Like it's 7 or 8 years old this year, and I look out there and I'm like, oh, we are just getting somewhere. A few more trees. This is gonna be something. And I'm enjoying all the hard work I did last fall because it made this spring so much easier. So yeah.
Yeah. I like that maturity too. It's you don't have that same exhilaration that you have when you're first putting a garden in, right? Like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And you get to go buy stuff and pick stuff out and make it happen. Like that's its own particular thrill. But then when the maturing comes, it's like the embers of a fire. It's a deeper burn in a really good way.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, ladies, we wish you well in your gardening in the coming weeks and be kind to yourself, create beautiful things. This is just, I don't know. There's such a pleasure. There's such a pleasure to be had, even if you don't consider yourself a gardener. Some beautiful thrifted terracotta pots and
if you're not a gardener, go bless someone who is by asking to see their garden.
Oh, there you go.
I never get to show anyone my garden. I'm sure someone would love to show you their garden.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good idea. I thought you were going to say, if you're not a gardener, you should become one.
Well, that too.
If you're not a gardener, you're wrong, and you should become one. No, just kidding.
You want as much dirt under your fingernails as
I'm teasing. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If you want more garden content, both Angela and I are posting a lot about our gardens on our YouTube channels because 'tis the season. So if you want to visually check out what it is we're talking about, then Angela's channel is Parisian Farm Girl on YouTube. Mine is the Elliott Homestead. So there's, I don't know, 15 or so years worth of varying qualities of videos throughout those channels and various stages of gardens. You can see back to the very beginnings of things. So plenty of garden material for you there. Yeah, exactly. All right, ladies. Yes, we'll see you next Monday. Cheers.